And I remember it was like raining. I mean, it rains up there like 9 months out of the year. You know, it was cold. It's December. And as soon as I got there, you know, the older homies that were there, they started lacing me up with game, you know, how it's run right there, what's expected of you and everything. And I'm like, all right. I mean, by that time, I left YA being a sureño. I'm a sureño, you know. That's what I ride. And so I fell in line with the program. And it was a lot of violence right there. It was like stabbings, like every couple of weeks you go on lockdown, there's another one, lockdown for 2 weeks and off lockdown. And I mean, that was happened throughout the year, 11 months until I committed my first stabbing right there. They sent me to the SHU. Actually, you know how you go to ADSEG first for the investigation before you go to SHU?
Yeah.
So I was in ADSEG for a couple of months. When I get a cellmate who had been stabbed on the yard, on the GP, and they put him in my cell, and so I find out that same night, like, yeah, he got to go. So the next day, I had to stab him and get him out of the cell, and it was that was quite an experience right there, man, because it was gruesome, you know. It's like there was like the night before, there was a lot of it. I was going through a lot of anxiety, man, because I couldn't even sleep. I didn't sleep well if I slept at all that night, man, because I knew like the next day I gotta get my cellie out of the cell, you know. And anyway, next day came and I did that, and they took him out on a stretcher. They took him out on a stretcher, and they took me out afterwards and like cleaned up. I was full of blood and everything, man. The whole cell was filled up with blood, and they thought I was stabbed too. Once they nurses cleaned me up and everything, that was most of his blood right there. You know, I had a couple of scratches and stuff, but that was quite an experience for me, man. And you know, I often think about that right there.
It's personal.
Yeah.
It's personal. I mean, if you're in a cell and it's just you and the individual, I mean, it hits different. It's different than, say, if you're on a yard or something like that. I mean, and you say you think about that a lot. I mean, what do you think about?
I think about him, you know. I don't know.
You were 19 at the time.
I was 19.
19 years old. You a baby.
Yeah, and you know, because he was in my cell for a day, we actually spoke, you know, and he seemed pretty cool, you know.
And the whole time in the back of your mind, you're just like, I gotta stab this dude.
Exactly.
So you're trying to play it as cool as possible. You got your poker face on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you're trying to, like, you know,
trying to make him feel comfortable, you know, like you're all right, you know.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, but anyway, it happened, and
you real quick, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, and people hate when I do this, but you said he was real cool.
Yeah.
Like, so he actually, you had conversations about, like, hey, how he got there. Maybe he talked about his old lady. Maybe he talked about personal things in his life to you. Because if you're there a day span, locked up in any closet with any individual, I mean, there's a lot of conversations that can happen. You can learn someone's entire life within a few hours.
Yeah.
You know, of being in a cell. You know, so you kind of got to know the dude a little bit, or whatever he put forward to you.
Yeah, so I didn't find out about his situation that he had to that I had to remove him from my cell until later on that night. So during the day, for several hours, you know, we were talking. We were in that seg, and he came off as a real cool person, you know. And I actually I was hoping that nothing was wrong with him, that it was just something personal between him and somebody else, and we can kick it, but that wasn't the case. Anyway, when I found out that night, that's when I was like feeling like anxiety. And I had heard of stories about like, man, whenever you got to be in a situation where it's going to be you and your cellie, you got to be careful because if you don't do it right, it could go all bad. It could go wrong. So
yeah, he can take the knife from you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You can end up the victim.
And it's happened. While I was in the shoe, I heard it.
Was he bigger than you?
A lot bigger. He was probably 210. I was maybe 140.
140.
Yeah.
So you just a little skinny ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this dude came in. He already been in there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yoked up.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say 210?
Yeah, he was about 210.
210. Yeah.
We had weights back then too.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But anyway, I went through that, man, and it's I don't look at it as like back then when it happened, I did have some pride about that. I looked at that as a badge of honor, but that feeling changed, after some years in the shoe of reflection and stuff.